President and fellow Toastmasters, and guest if any. In being shorthanded and thinking of this speech, I came up with something that was pertinent to all of us. I remember going out for my first job. I put on my tie, my shirt, my sportsman's jacket, my nice corduroy pants, my best pair of patent leather shoes that I had fastidiously taken care of since Easter Sunday. And I remember slinging under my arm that morning's Chicago Tribune and going down to the gas station to apply for the runner's job. Now, for those of you that don't know what a runner is at a gas station, he is the teenager, young person that wipes your windshield, greets you, and makes sure that your gasoline order is correct as you're pumping in your gas. At that time, gas was 27 cents a gallon, and standard pay was $1.55 an hour. I remember walking in and sitting at Mr. Burrell's desk. In his office, there was atop one of his Amoco stations, and sitting down and taking out my copy of that day's, it was actually a Monday, because it was called the Monday Unemployed Bible. Taking out my copy of the Chicago Tribune and flipping the business section open where I had meticulously, before going to the interview, had circled all the jobs, of course, I couldn't get. And definitely highlighting the prices that they would be paying for those jobs. And as I sat there, all geared up at the age of 14 and a half, with Mr. Burrell looking at me across his desk, he finally asked me a question that I didn't really have an answer to. Why did I bring a newspaper that day? I brought a newspaper that day because I had been raised to understand that anyone who was interested in having a job was up on today's headlines. I was also told as a child that anyone who was looking for a job obviously needed today's newspaper. Well, as you see today, we no longer need that. We have the iPhone, we have the internet, and we have a myriad of other sources at our fingertips. But with the demise of our latest local newspaper, I thought about the days of the Monday Unemployed Bible. And I remember that you would take it out, you would look at the front page as you normally would. Today's front page of our local paper is the Herald, and excuse me for not having it in order, is the Herald. And on the front of the Herald is Ken Griffey Jr. and a sports page. That would never do in my day. You would always have to then take out the business page and put it on top. And the reason you did that in putting the business page on top, it meant you were informed. You knew what the Dow closed at yesterday. We can, of course, get that today just by turning our phone on. You would know exactly what the going rate of pork bellies were being sold out of Wisconsin. You can also get that if you so desire from the S&P. But I found myself remiss to know that this industry is not going away, but is ultimately dead. I submit to you probably one of the last newspapers you will personally hold, simply because it is an antique. Newspapers provide a myriad of sources for us. How do you dispose of an antique that has been with your family every day for the last 134 years? I mean, seriously now, where else would the dog do his business? Parakeets everywhere are without a source of nesting material. What are we going to do, turn our printers on and print out the New York Times, or the Seattle Times may it be, and place it in the cage? I think that would be a waste of resources and finances for most of us. But in the process of watching the demise of the newspaper, I want you to ask yourself, is there any way to stop this demise of such a valuable antique to us? I mean, as you go by storefronts, do you not see the headline of the day plastered to the page of the window as the store closes? Do you not see that occasionally it is the only tool and reading source for someone who is sitting on a park bench, who is alone and lonely? What will they do? Flip open their iBook and continue to read? how do we preserve all the tenants that such a valuable antique has given us? How do you preserve such a valuable antique when it gives us so much information, education, knowledge, and just desired daily information? I mean, how else would you know on a long-term visit what's happening locally in your community and your neighborhood? I mean, please, Yao, you're my accountant. You obviously read the financial news in the newspaper, do you not? Everyone has an absolute use for the newspaper. We've just lost a reason to purchase it because we've been given shiny new toys. And those shiny new toys have a place and they have a use, and I actually like that use in that place. Trust me. For me to get up to go out and actually purchase a newspaper every day, oh my God. I actually stuck 50 cents in the vending machine today and pulled this one out. Miraculously, it was the only one in there. Scary thought. Imagine when we get to the end and we want to know something. The front page of this paper says that Ken Griffey helped win the game yesterday. But the most important news on the front page of that newspaper is that it's printed locally, it has local information, and it helps you know exactly what's going on in your community and what's not worthy to be placed on the evening news, the morning news, the news that starts at 4:30, the national news, or any other such source. Thank you for holding the meeting and waiting for me to come tell you how to dispose and the demise of an antique. Thank you, Toastmasters.